Okay, let's get into it. Years ago, Pat Gelsinger said to me and my co-host John Furrier in theCUBE, if you're not riding the waves in this industry, you're going to end up as Driftwood. And today, that's more true than ever. So with that epic quote in mind, I'd like to ask each of you to do two things. First, please tell us a bit more about yourself and your role and your company. And then second, I'd like you to answer the following. As you are navigating through the vast technology ocean, what's the most important wave that you're riding to avoid becoming Driftwood? Tom, please kick it off.
Sure thing. Thanks very much, Dave. So for the audience, Tom Gillis, I run the network and security products at VMware. So that's NSX in our data center, SD-WAN, scale-out software load balancer, and advanced security technology. And I think Pat Gelsinger is a wise man and someone actually we miss dearly. You know, he's the CEO of Intel now. But he's right on the money in that change is hard, but change is imperative. And you know, when I think about the change in the context that we're just talking about, the number one thing that I think is universally aspired to, I talk to hundreds, maybe thousands of enterprise customers, you know, routinely. The number one thing they're aspiring to is agility. So, you know, just as you said, Dave, this pandemic, who saw that coming? Anyone anticipate that? You know, let's be honest, like nobody did, right? But like this thing hit us like a ton of bricks. And so the difference between success and failure is how you respond, and the speed and you know, nimbleness that you can achieve. And big companies are incredibly powerful; they can do almost anything, but they're rarely known to be nimble. So how do we bring agility to an enterprise that's operating at scale? Well, I believe that one of the areas where we can have the biggest impact is we can provide infrastructure that is fully automated. And the public cloud really paved the way here. When you go to the public cloud, you don't open tickets and configure switches and routers. You don't open a separate set of tickets to a separate group that configures firewalls. You have a set of high-level APIs that allow a developer or DevOps person to express a workload completely, all of the workload, not just the VMs and the pieces that make up the application, but all the monitoring, the measurement, the security, all the stuff that you need to deploy something in the real world. You express that ahead of time as software in a CI/CD pipeline, and then you push a button and deploy. And our vision of VMware is to bring that same exact operating model and functionality into what we call the hybrid cloud, which is it can run on-prem, it can run, you know, in these interesting combinations of the VMware stack running on Amazon Metal, or it can run in a native public cloud environment. And so we want to provide that agility for our customers, regardless of where their infrastructure resides. And I think that's you know, a big topic.
Great, thank you, Tom. It was appreciated. We put you on the spot. Now, you guys, our other guests had time to think about it. So, Anoop, Tom was talking about the cloud experience. You guys, that's your fault. You guys got it all started. So maybe you could weigh in here, please.
Yeah, we are guilty. Thanks, Dave. So, hi everyone. So, my name is Anoop Devani. I lead a product management team here at AWS. My team mostly look after the networking products and monitoring products. And our goal is simple. Our goal is to make networking so easy that you know, customers don't have to deal with any, you know, networking products, and automatically they're you know, the resources they have in the VPC, in the cloud, or on-prem connecting to the cloud, they just connect easily with push of a button. Just like how Tom mentioned, no switch and router, obviously, but not a lot of configurations, not a lot of, you know, friction to actually deploy resources. That's basically, you know, one of the main goals that we have. The important wave, Dave, that you talked about, we continue to see migration of workload from on-prem to the cloud. And yet we see customers actually having their hybrid environment. You know, that hybrid environment is not going anywhere. So we want to make sure that, you know, we provide our customers this consistent solution, whether it's about monitoring, visibility, or just the operational tools. They work similarly on-prem as well as in cloud.
Great, thank you. Okay, Michael, you've just talked a lot about networking. It's kind of your wheelhouse. I wonder if you could share your thoughts.
We will. So let me take this on by first saying that we as guardians of the connected world, we are taking our mission very seriously. And you know, we've been a leader in the service provider industry, mobile networks in particular, and protecting the integrity and assuring the services of these very large networks. Also in the large enterprise business, very large customers like Joe and large banks and hospitals and so on. So, and also with Arbor now we are able to extend our services to protecting against outside attacks. And so now what we see in terms of this change to a truly agile infrastructure is that the way there is full of potholes. And what we're trying to do is really make sure that we can protect the end user's experience in our served customers and enterprises otherwise during this transition, because this transition is fraught with multiple different challenges, starting with the lack of understanding of the precise map of the dependencies that you may be breaking as you migrate workloads, but also, just the continuity of the whole governance environment. And it's true when you move workloads to AWS, but to some degree, it's also true when you move into NSX, because you have to reconfigure your ACLs and stuff. So things are changing, and you have to watch out to minimize the disruption while you are going towards goodness, right? I mean, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So you can really break things in a major way, and it has happened in a number of unsuccessful waves to the cloud in particular. And so that's one of the key missions. It's a key mission. It's trying to make sure that the transition itself is working. But then beyond it, our goal is to make sure that the transitioned enterprise, which will continue to transition, by the way, these workloads will continue to move around, and I know that NSX is all about that in particular. We're going to have to make sure that the visibility at the application level remains consistent. And so our biggest card to play in this is to provide a consistent data set that travels across these borders. We call them borders. I mean, NSX is a server border. You go to the server room and suddenly you do a whole different environment. And when you move your workload, which is what we are working with Tom on, how do you make sure that the end users are not suffering consequences? And the same in terms of AWS. So it's the cloud border. So that's what without borders means.